Hamzat Chimaev says, I would like to fight for the title next. What? Like, how? Why? Why would you even deserve the title shot? Anyway, in a recent interview, Hamzat Chimaev says that he will likely return a UFC 308, which is the card that is set to take place in Abu Dhabi. It will more than likely be the card headlined by Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. That is more than likely when that fight is going to take place. It's the card that also is rumoured to have Cyril Gane versus Volkov on it as well. He says that is when he will return. He doesn't know who the opponent's going to be next, but he would like to fight for the title. Now, Hamzat Chimaev, in my opinion, might go down as the biggest what if in MMA history. When this guy signed to the UFC, he went on a roll. He had multiple fights in a short space of time. Everybody was maybe going on to say he was going to be the first guy to win a belt in 3 different divisions. That's the type of hype this guy had. He was honestly one of the biggest names in the sport. And then when it came to the Diaz fight and he missed weight, it kind of just all fell apart. Like, obviously, Hamzat Chimaev's career hasn't been helped with sickness. That's the thing that the guy has had to battle through. Obviously, his last fight against Robert Whittaker, he had to pull out due to sickness again. He was going to retire at one point due to illnesses. So, sickness isn't on Hamzat Chimaev's side. Also, it doesn't help that Hamzat Chimaev cannot fight in America. So, he can't get a visa or an ESTA or whatever you call it to allow him to get into the States to fight. So, that also doesn't help the guy's career, but he says he wants to fight for the title next. Absolutely not. If the UFC can't do this because Dricus du Plessis and Adesanya are going to fight at 305, and I can't imagine one of those guys making such a quick turnaround to fight at October in Abu Dhabi against a guy who doesn't even deserve it. He doesn't have a win over a ranked middleweight yet. Why would he fight for the title? I really don't get it. But anyway, let's look at the rankings here in the middleweight division and see who. Let's name a couple of opponents that possibly could be next for Hamzat Chimaev that would make some sense. So we're going to start off with Hamzat Chimaev isn't even ranked in the top 10. Sorry, my bad. He is currently ranked number 11. Above him, you've got Roman Dolidze. Now, I think Roman Dolidze, again, a very winnable fight for Hamzat Chimaev. I think he smokes Dolidze, let's be honest. But I just don't think that's going to be the fight to happen next for Hamzat Chimaev. He does beat Roman Dolidze, in my opinion, fairly easy. But Hamzat Chimaev, I know I said he doesn't deserve to fight for the title. I don't think he deserves even a guy like Robert Whittaker again next. But I think he deserves maybe a guy with a bit of name value. I don't think Roman Dolidze's it. I just don't think that's a fight the UFC would even consider, to be honest. Then you've got Jack Hermansson. Jack Hermansson has been known to derail quite a lot of the hype trains in the middleweight division, especially most recently Joe Pyfer. I think that would be a pretty fun fight, Jack Hermansson versus Hamzat Chimaev. I think Hamzat would beat Jack Hermansson, to be honest. But again, Jack Hermansson is kind of that gatekeeper for these guys. I think Hamzat Chimaev is above that level. That's a fight that could possibly work, in my opinion. Then you've got Paulo Costa in at number 8. The ship is sealed for this fight, to be honest. I still think it would be a big fight and a fun build-up, but Costa's on a 2-fight losing streak now. I just don't get... I just think that the hype for that fight kind of went away now. Unless Costa gets in there beforehand, gets a big win, and then they fight then. Outside of that, just don't see the point, to be honest. Then up above him, you've got Brendan Allen. Now, I originally thought this would be a great fight for Hamzat Chimaev. He's just outside of the top 5. He's on a crazy win streak as well. I think it'll be a fun fight to see. I think Hamzat beats him, but I think it would be a fun fight to see. But he has just been booked to fight Imavov, so they're not in September, so he's not going to fight in October, let's be honest. Then we've got the guy in at number 6 that I think he should fight, a fight that I would like to see, which is Marvin Vettori. Now, Marvin Vettori, a former title challenger, I think he would be a tough test for Hamzat Chimaev if they make it 5 rounds. I think Hamzat Chimaev has to fight in a 5-round fight now. I know he was meant to fight 5 rounds against Robert Whittaker. I think he should be it should be a 5-round co-main event against Marvin Vettori. I think that would be a great fight. I think Marvin Vettori could definitely test Hamzat Chimaev. Vettori's got a good gas tank. I think in the early rounds, Hamzat will more than likely get the better of him, and he could probably finish Vettori. But Vettori is very tough and durable, especially on the feet. I think he's got pretty decent boxing as well. His grappling is okay. Hamzat is definitely way more elite than Vettori in that area. But I feel like over 5 rounds, Vettori would be a really good test for someone like Hamzat Chimaev. and it's just outside of the top 5, and it gets him in the conversation with these big names. Other than that, really just looking at the rankings, maybe a Jared Cannonier coming off that loss to Imavov. He is ranked number 5. Cannonier, I think it was wrongfully stopped, that fight, to be honest. He didn't look great though. He did look good in the earlier rounds. I think I had it 2-1, maybe, if I remember correctly. Going into the round he got finished in, Imavov was looking to take over though. The tides were turning. But yeah, I think he was stopped early. Jared Cannonier would be a great fight, I think. Very patient, very hard hitting. His leg kicks, I would like to see how Hamzat would deal with them. I think that would be a good fight for Hamzat Chimaev next. I just don't think he deserves to fight for the middleweight title next. That's just my opinion. My 2 options are Marvin Vettori or Jared Cannonier. Let me know, who do you think Hamzat Chimaev should fight next? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Get your Charles Oliveira graphics tee. They are linked in the TikTok bio, and I will see you again in the next one.